Hello everyone, excuse the voice. I'm still sick and I was sick all of the time when I made these. These are the bias tapes that it took me 3 days to make them. Was it worth it? I don't know. Maybe it was, but it was hard work. So, you see, remember that fabric from the last video? Okay, so I used that fabric to create the bias tapes. And why? Because I could not make up my mind to buy some, right? Because I did not know what color I would like to use. And I had the fabric at home. So that just made sense to me. Since I have the fabric at home, why spend $6 on 5 meter tape? And it's gonna take at least 2 weeks to come to me. So, so I decided I'll just make it. I mean, that's just makes sense, right? Well, it does make sense to be honest. But yeah, so you can see me here. I'm measuring the pieces and then I will cut it. However, I forgot here that the tool is made for the right-handed people, not for the left-handed people. It was so annoying. So yeah. And then I had to change the blade to the other side because when I cut the piece, I actually cut it shorter than it was. And here, the pulling, I also forgot that I used the clips to clip the fabric to the cutting mat so it doesn't move. Smart, hey? But anyway, so then, yeah, I'm also very proud of me because I actually used the tool that comes with the Cricut where I can, because I don't have one of these seam what does it call it? I don't know, the rolling thing that crease the seam. So I use this one to crease the seam. And oh my god, this was such a great cut. Oh, hang on, it wasn't. Somebody forgot to pull the plate out. I mean, seriously? Yeah. But you get these things in the big jobs, right? So anyway, I cut each piece 1/2 meter by 1/2 meter, and then I had to cut it diagonally to make the triangles. When you make the triangles, then I had to come and then sew the shorter side of the triangles together. But again, was it worth it? It took me 3 days, guys. It took me 3 days. And I could say that, they were pretty solid days. Was it all of the 3 days? No, because I had to do a couple of other things around. But maybe if you combine them together, it will take you 2 days. 2 days. Yeah. But I guess the beauty in this is I learned how to make them. And so next time when I need them, or, when you make a project and you have the color that you need in the fabric, then you can create your own and you don't have to wait for delivery. And if you're undecisive like me that doesn't know what it wants, so yeah, it makes sense for me to make them in that point of time. But will I do this again? No, unless I really need to. So after I did sew the pieces together, and this was all of the pieces, then I had to iron them so I can flatten the seam between. So then I can, because then later on I had to draw on them. And here I'm gonna show you all of the pieces that I ironed and they're ready. So you can see all of the colors. Sometimes it didn't make sense to create only one piece. As you can see, some of them have like two pieces of the color because the leftover piece that was, I didn't want to leave it on the fabric, so I just cut it all the length. And here you will see that I did not show you how I draw them, but here you will see me putting it together. So you have to line them up and you have to pull them and they have to kind of misalign, you don't get from, yeah, it's the special way for you to line them up and to line the lines because that creates the continuous cut later. So also here you have seen me, I already have sew that lines together. And now the next step will be for me to cut each one. Yeah, but it was a lot of work. So these ones are waiting for me to cut them, and I was using so here I was on my desk or on my table, desk, whichever it is, but it was very uncomfortable. Yeah. It's finicky work. So if you decide to do this, get yourself somewhere where it's more comfortable. And here you see me. I have cut all of the strips, and now I also, before I started, making the tapes, I needed to clean the strips because where I joined the fabric together, um, that each single piece had to be cut it short. So then when I fold them with the tool, which you can see here, they fold much more nicely and there's not big pieces poking out. So one other thing about this tool, I have a whole box out of it, whole whole set of them, and I was surprised that I had like this one is size 18, and I had like two of each one, and I'm like, why do I need two of each one? But then I realized that one is more like narrower than the other, meaning like flatter. However, because I pick up first the flat one, it did not work with this fabric, and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, no, this is not worth it. I waste so much time. No, it can't happen. But then something made me to decide to try the other tool, and the one that was a bit more wider actually worked perfectly, and that's the one you saw. Also, now you can see me measuring the tape and see what's the length that I got. And that was 5 meters. So when you get your squares of half a meter by half a meter, you can make a 5 meter tape. So it's pretty good. But just remember, in AliExpress is about $5 or $6. Depends where you buy it from and from who you buy it. But if you need it now and you can't wait, this is the way you can make it. And then I had to roll each piece. And here we are back at the start where you saw me lining up together. My voice is letting me down right now, and I really want to cough, but I don't want to cough. So I created 19 pieces. That's a different one. That was a big piece, but don't try to do the big pieces. That was a hard work. So also I realized that I needed to keep the tapes in something because they're gonna be very flimsy and they're gonna fall apart. So I created this yesterday. I designed it in Fusion 360, and that was the first time I created a thread, a cap, and I was so proud of myself. And then after that, I decided I can maybe make a bigger version where I can have a 5 tapes in. So yeah, but for now, the other ones will stay in this tin until I print another storage to put them in. But for now, I am done. Much love, Tinker and Boom. See you next time.